Alrighty, everybody. Welcome to INnoVation versus Rainor, a best of 3 series that took place at the HomeStory Cup. This is a replay cast of that, and one that obviously I think a lot of people will be interested in. 2 fan favorites here, a matchup that everybody usually enjoys. This is a crossover YouTube Twitch cast, so I'm casting this because I want to upload it to my YouTube channel, so hello YouTube. But we basically have some downtime between tournaments while we're live on Twitch today, so we're doing it live on Twitch. So it is going to be designed as a YouTube cast. I'm not going to be reading any Twitch chat. I'm not going to be doing any shoutouts or anything along those lines, unless I forget, because sometimes I'm bad and I forget things. So that's kind of the situation. That's what's up. So let's introduce the players. In the bottom right, we have our green Zerg player Rainor, opening pool first, maybe a little afraid of some proxied barracks. As in the top left-hand side, our red Terran player is INnoVation in game 1 of this best of 3 series. Played on the American server, pings pretty similar for both. We casted these guys a little while back in the WardiTV Spring Championship preseason semifinals, and INnoVation lost out to Rainor 2-3, and it felt like 1 or 2 games lag really affected him. It felt in some of the other games, you know, he was in full control of the game and everything else, so who knows what exactly to expect from this here as we get this underway on Simulacrum, as mentioned. Again, pool first. I think mostly Reynor opening pool first to try and stay very safe against proxy barracks, make sure he doesn't have, you know, too tough of a time dealing with those if those are committed into. As we are going to be seeing this SCV coming across. As we just have a little bit of build-up, I just want to say, of course, as this is designed to be a YouTube cast, I'll take a quick chance to say to... Of course, if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. It takes a quick second or two, and it goes a long way to help. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you're thinking about all of these games, and maybe if there's anything else in particular you'd like me to cast. And of course, don't forget you can subscribe as well. Get notifications when my uploads go up. We upload 1 video a day here, the best from the stream, and sometimes some YouTube-only casts as well. We are very close to 17,000 YouTube subscribers, so we are so very nearly there. In fact, I'm going to do a live check right now, and we are at... drum roll, please. 16,979. So by the time this actually gets uploaded, we're probably already at 17,000. So you know what? I'll change what I'm saying. Thank you so much for 17,000 subs, onwards to 20,000. As I have our factory building up here from INnoVation. So he does get this Reaper, but because it's pool first, he scouts out with the SCV scout. He stays back at home with the Reaper. He's afraid of Zerglings coming across the map and delaying his command center, so he'll just stay back. You do want to start scouting at some point, though, because you want to come across and see if there's roaches coming your way. If there's roaches coming your way, obviously you're in a little bit of trouble, and you have to approach this in a little bit of a different manner as the Reaper continues down the bottom right-hand side. The hatchery on the 3rd base location are now building up as well, as this Reaper will just come up this ramp. Couple queens very quick to push the Reaper back up to the top side. So Reaper will take a little bit of damage as the starport about halfway done. 2 more Hellions in production. And the tech lab building up on a barracks here. So again, that tech lab on the racks. And again, these Hellions of INnoVation coming out the front. Ready to take some more map control and ready to improve that. As this Reaper really is just going to go for a full check around the main. Trying to figure out what's going on. But actually, it's just very standard. As INnoVation seeing all of this, he's actually saying, okay, well, actually, Marauders. And maybe time for a little bit of a Hellbat attack. So... Marauder production, generally followed by concussive shells and medevac from the after the Viking. And go for a little bit of a Hellbat attack to try and take a lead early. So that's where we're at right now, as these few Hellions come out through the center. So making their way across the right-hand side. A Marine here chipping away at the Overlord as Rainor makes his way in. He's going to see the concussive shells starting the Marauder. Something he doesn't necessarily know. Now, of course, right now, he doesn't know that this is concussive shells. He just knows it's an upgrade. So it can look a lot like this is just a very standard stim timing. And moving in towards like a bio-stim setup. So that's something to keep in mind, that while Raynor saw the tech lab spinning, there's nothing here to really suggest this is a lot of aggression. And you can see double Evo chambers dropping down. Still no sign of a Bane nest nor roach roaring. There is nothing realistically to defend this as Raynor. So he's in some trouble here. This attack from INnoVation very likely to do some damage. There's a few Marauders loading up into the medevac. And they're going to go out into the center of the map as these few Hellions going to be joining in the center as well. A Viking already firing, and the Overlord taking some shots. So the Viking able to deal some very good damage here as the Overlord takes quite a lot of damage. The medevac coming through, a few Marauders, the Marine coming into this. Hellions morph into the Hellbats, and if these Marauders come forwards, they're going to be looking to see what they can get up to. A Queen gets slowed there initially. The Hellbats all coming down towards this low ground third hatchery. As the Zerglings getting a surround, Hellbat will be taken down here, and the Hellbat's just continuing onto the hatchery. So Hatch taking a lot of damage at the moment. All of these drones continue to go down as it's actually going to be a lot of drones just being picked away. And is he actually going to get the hatchery? I mean, I think so. Again, there's just no preparation here for Raynor. He hasn't been able to get the medevac either, so he's not being able to get any of the healing stopped. And Raynor just straight up loses the third hatch, as this will be a re-expand from Raynor. INnoVation going to commit back in. If these Marauders on concussive shells, they can of course slow down these Queens from kiting away as much. A couple extra reinforcing Hellbats showing up as well. Spellcrawler coming into the front, wants to keep the medevac away from this. The Viking as well, I'd imagine. As it looks as though Raynor will hold this off now, but of course at a huge cost. That third hatchery going down means the third is very delayed. And actually keeping some units alive here for INnoVation is quite nice as well. Unfortunately, this one Marauder wanted to go on an adventure of his own. He'll be caught by Zerglings. But it does mean that INnoVation has taken a good lead in the game, right? Keeping some units up, so defensively he's fine against counterattacks. And he's just going into that third CC. Now, he is quite far behind on upgrades. That's one thing that Raynor will have in this game. He will have a very big upgrade lead to take advantage of. So that's one thing you can use to maybe try and fight back. Losing the third hatch is a big deal, but it doesn't straight up just say, okay, this game ends right here and now. Especially if Raynor can take some good fights because of upgrades or other reasons. There is absolutely potential that this obviously then goes on from there, as we have the Liberator of INnoVation out around this right-hand side. Going to make its way all the way down towards the natural expansion, where it can siege up and go after a couple of drones. The Lings, the Queen's coming across, Spellcrawler setting up as well, as the Liberator will siege. And again, these drones going to get picked away at, so a bunch of drones going down right now for workers already killed. Liberator going to get sieged in the main as well, so he's actually going to get a bunch more damage. Now, this is really good for INnoVation, as this Queen wanders all the way through, wants to get to the other side to hit the Liberator. Now, this is really nice. Denied mining time. Okay, the Liberators look as though they're probably going to die off, but yeah, the denied mining time, obviously some drone kills as well, just keeps Raynor kind of set back in the droning phase once again for that little while longer, especially in this period where you're trying to play catch-up on stuff like upgrades and getting an army onto the map, which usually you might have had by now. He's actually going to start pushing out. Now, this is without 1-1, and it's without combat shields, so you've got to be somewhat careful here as INnoVation as he moves into the middle of the map. Just going to be seeing the Viking going to land, and just going to be seeing the Marines coming through. A couple of Queens here actually in some trouble. He does have stim, and he will activate. I think just wants to clean up this creep spread, of course. And this is such a feel-good scan. When you see all these creep teamers, you're going to get rid of all the active ones, all the progress they've made. Maybe another scan here. We'll see if he wants to, because he might be expecting this fight to come down, so he might not deem it worth the scan, but he's going to get there and push the creep even further back. Marauders and the Hellbats tanking the Banelings here for the Marines in the back to deal the damage. Enough Banelings, though, to apparently keep this push back, and INnoVation will load up and pull away towards the center, as Raynor now down 20 supply. And if INnoVation just keeps up this pressure, it's the sort of fight, the sort of game is going to go very well for him. I was talking about Raynor's advantages in the upgrades earlier, but those are fading away very quickly now. 1-1 finish from INnoVation, and no 2-2 really very far along for Raynor. He had +2 carapace far along, which is the more important upgrade. Just now starting +2 melee, so he still has an advantage, but it's not here for the moment. He has to wait at least for the carapace upgrade to end, and then he will have an advantage for, even then, not even as long as he had before. So opportunities slipping away a little bit. Pressing forwards, Widowmine's burrowing a few Marines, setting up as well. It's going to be seeing the hatchery taking some damage. Liberator gets sniped down. Queens able to come in and fight as the Marines load back up. Banes continue to crash in. Those Widowmines going down, and in the center, INnoVation coming through to clean out even more of these creep tumors. Some more creep tumors being picked off. INnoVation in the upper right-hand side as Widowmines left to their own devices. 2-2 upgrades coming in. Zerglings on the way out. Just going to be seeing more of this creep spreading out in the center as our medevacs of INnoVation load up all the way to the top side. These Marines here of INnoVation just going to continue fighting. The Zerglings taking a bit of a beating. 6 more Mutalisks in production now from Raynor. So getting those extra Mutas up and running. A whole bunch more Banes in the center here. And again, here's the army of INnoVation coming down the bottom side. And Reynor's up on 4 bases, obviously still behind and still struggling to hold these attacks, but he's staying in the game, you know, and that's something at least. You know, we've seen Zergs, which I feel would have rolled over and died already by the second or third wave of attack after being so far down. The Bane's crashing in, the Marines holding out on the high ground as Lings run through. But meanwhile, there's an army on the top side, getting some creep teamers again. This is one of Reynor's big issues, right? That INnoVation is just going to control the creep for the entirety of the game. So as INnoVation continues to control that creep spread, it really makes this game, even if the supplies start to even out, the game is still in INnoVation's favor, because then you don't have the creep you're used to working with as Reynor, and that's a real struggle. And that's just going to be seeing the SCVs mining away. And, yeah, me just coming through, a little bit more damage being done here and there. Lings, Banes, and the Queen still down the right side. Thor in production from INnoVation, drilling claws on the way up, and still having INnoVation pressing forwards into the center here. As these Mutalisks of Rainor go up to the top through the 12 o'clock, and again a bit more bio continuing to press across to this far right side. Banelin's morphing in from Rainor as well. A couple of creep tumors being ticked away at, as you're going to see. Widow Mines don't have drilling claws yet, so it's a slow burrow, but he gets it. And now Rainor will try and launch a counter. So we've not seen a lot of counterattacks just yet from Rainor. Not any that have really done all too much, as Widow Mines will burrow. Overlords gonna get blown up. I think that's actually fine though, taking damage on the Overlords instead of, you know, Widow Mine shots on your Ling Bane. SCV kills there, just non-existent though, as the run by doesn't do a lot. Rainor jumps on this army in the front, and off creep, INnoVation will turn to fight it. A couple extra Widow Mines burrowing up, and they actually do very good. Top and bottom half of this army getting killed. INnoVation will again push Rainor back away to the right side once again. Now bringing the rest of this up to the top as these Mutalisks trying to see where they can go. Marines starting to fire, and the Mutas kind of wandering around for themselves. Empire comes to the far right now, and will be pressing forwards. The creep tumor may be in some trouble right away, as he actually lifted up a few Marines into the medevac. I think that's a mistake. Mutas are going to go and try and counterattack and buy some time. Reinforcements on the ramp not going to do very much. Still is Bioforce pushing forwards. Here's the Mutas coming through, and there's no missile turrets, so it's just Marines that have to defend it. As these Banes roll in, it looks like it'll be enough to clean this out, so Reynor's going to stay alive, and yeah, a couple of moments here. I mean, he kills some drones, etc. It's obviously been not a cheap cleanup from Reynor, but he cleans up, deals some damage across the map. Only 3 SCVs. I actually really thought it was more. When those Mutas were on top of the mineral line, it really looked like they were just having a good time, but they were pushed back. INnoVation scans this bottom side base, wants a real idea just to know exactly where the economy is at from Reynor. And the answer is it's not up at 80 to 90 drones like you would want it to be. It's only at 70, so you don't really have the money to really just pump units and trade and trade and trade like you're so often looking to do with a Ling Bane composition. Reynor back down into the center. Now Bioforce is still moving around here, as our Mutas will want to try and dive in towards this third base. Doesn't quite get there just yet. The Mutalisks pulling back from Reynor over the right-hand side. The Bio now down the bottom, pressing forwards. Widow Mines will burrow up. As, oh, the Banelings, they'll crash in, and a bunch of Marines go down. Well, now a lot of this Bioforce is going to spread out a little bit. Banes continue to come on through this, and just going to be seeing... I mean, that's kind of a cleanup. Widow Mines going off, and the Mutalisks still taking some damage. Now going to pull back over to the right-hand side. A bit more from INnoVation down the left then. We'll end up on the bottom here very shortly. 3-3 upgrades continuing to build from INnoVation, and will be finishing soon to give him that upgrade lead to continue pushing and fighting against Reynor here. A couple of Banes going down as they try and roll in. The Mutalisks on top of this missile turret. Going for another one. No response from INnoVation. No repairs. So Reynor will start to deal some damage as the Banelings roll forwards. Widow Mines to protect, and a couple of other Banes going down. The Muta's doing a lot across the map. A couple of Marines showing up, but the Muta count is good enough. However, it does end up in him losing the 5th base, so he's back down to just 4 bases here. I mean, Neno's just on 4, but he's about to have a 5th CC. Thor out here now, some extra Marines stepping in. Maybe that's enough to push those Mutas back, as INnoVation is not done yet on the bottom side of the map, pressing forwards. We have those Banes rolling through, the Marines pulling backwards, the Marauders continue to fire. A couple of Marines commit into towards those Banelings as the Mutalisks of Reynor all the way down this bottom side. The medevacs load up, and that will be a pull away. INnoVation, though, very low HP medevacs. This is real bad if the Mutas commit onto them. He gets the Thor, so it's almost like he donates the Thor to save the medevacs. I wouldn't have minded. I don't think the Mutalisks chasing past the Thor and just onto these medevacs. They're all so low. if you get rid of all these medevacs, you really slow down what INnoVation can do in terms of, you know, continuing to fight, continuing to be out on the map, etc. That's a surprising move from me. As you see, the Lings up the top side, a hatchery in the top right-hand corner. Middleists of Rainor once again over to the left and going to go just try and pick up a missile turret and start the harassment here. A few Marines show up, but not that many. So it's going to be a few SCVs already going down. Actually turns on to the Marines for a moment or two, and again, only 3 SCVs. I keep seeing these fights, I'm like, oh my god, he's going to kill like 10 workers, and he gets 3 SCVs. I mean, obviously, he turns to fight onto the couple of Marines there. Maybe it would have been better just targeting down some extra worker kills. As we do see Rainor trying to re-expand and get up the top right-hand side. So he's getting back to 5 bases. Not a lot of creep up this top avenue, which is really important to then try and maybe save, you know, attacks from INnoVation, just pushing through there. Because this is really frustrating. If you push through this direction of the Terran, the Zerg flank on you is very difficult to set up as Rainor. Unless you get around here and then from the left. But then, you know, then the Terran's very much so in trouble. But getting all the way up here as the Zerg should be difficult in the first place anyways. So this is definitely a base that's a bit tougher to hold, as Rainor will now already start expanding to the bottom side again. He knows and realizes that he needs to keep a 5th base up. So he's just already saying, well, if this base goes down, I've now got a backup already in progress. I don't have to restart from nothing. Nice Widowmine gets a lot of the Banelings in the front line there. As a Marine sees this base re-expanding, maybe gives INnoVation the idea to go dropping down that side. Has plenty of medevacs for it, albeit some of them very low HP. Still didn't heal those up from the previous fight where we saw them leaving on very low health. Obviously would be a nice something to help out a little bit. Middle is still up through the middle then as the Bio Army of INnoVation around the top. Just going to be seeing more Bio dive in the bottom side hatchery. Hatchery going to take some hits here as the Lings and Banes running forwards. Widow Mines. For a moment we're lining up, but didn't commit in the end, as now we have more of this from INnoVation down this bottom side. It's going to come pressing forwards, and this hatch going to take some pretty serious damage. First Baneling going down already. The Lings and Banes continue to run through. The Marines split up quite nicely. Fiddlers will go diving in on this. I mean, this is where the medevac's very low on HP will kind of pay a price. But he is going to get the 5th base, so he's going to get both the bases that would have been the 5th. So it's not like Rainor can just send these drones elsewhere now. They're kind of stuck with nowhere to mine from, so Rainor's income is going to be falling apart a little bit too much. And INnoVation took control of this game early, and he's really kept it throughout, playing it a little bit more slowly than I feel like he usually does, just to make sure that he doesn't kind of give away an advantage. But it has been a game which he's still been in control of, and he's been playing it very well and really keeping Rainor away from all the things that he really needs to make this game that much more, you know, that much simpler. Miller's back around into the middle. As they intercept a full medevac. Oh my god, don't get the full one. Oh my god, Rainor, he killed every empty medevac, and the one full one, which he brought down to 6 health, survives. What is that about? That's kind of crazy. There's a Bio unit, a Marauder stimming down the bottom side here. This hatchery going to fall. A few more Widow Mines burrowing up. Widow Mines lining up a shot or two. On the top side, Mutila's coming in, and SCVs and Marines taking some damage as well. These Mutas taking some extra hits also. Banes and Mutas still setting up. Our Bio pressing forwards. This hatchery in some trouble. Mutas in the main base, trying to see what they can do. Lings and Banes continue to roll on forwards here. The Widow Mine's looking to try and line up. More SCVs going down. We still have the Bio units from INnoVation pressing forward, so Rainor losing another base. I mean, obviously the 4th is well on its way to mining now, but any bit of mining right now is important for Rainor to keep. And he just isn't keeping it. You can see the income lead has been minimal. And now you've been sneaking into INnoVation's favor as he's up on 6 bases. Creep spread being annihilated through the middle. I mean, it's getting pretty good on the bottom side again. Marines coming back to go deal with the Mutas, which Rainor's trying to buy some time with. Just so much Bio here. As he's INnoVation kind of just running up this ramp on creep. Has some Widow Mines to help as the Banes roll forwards. And they are going to be met by Widow Mines. There's going to be a Thor that tanks the majority of that damage. And Rainor unable to find anything across the map with the Mutalisks. And INnoVation just cleaning out some more creep spread. He will get the Mutas onto this bottom left-hand base, but the Marines are chasing forwards. Losing an Overseer. Now the Mutas going down to some Marines. And of course, with the lack of economy, replacing those Mutalisks are going to be trouble as well. As just going to be seeing these other Lings and Banes trying to push down here, trying to get in. Let's see a few of these Banes pulling out over the left side. GGGs are called. and INnoVation is going to end up taking the first map of this best of 3 series. Obviously, the attack early put him ahead, and just played it very safely. Didn't go overly aggressive to maybe give up the game to like a crazy fight or two. Great effort from Raynor to stay in, and obviously active enough on the map to make INnoVation not just fully commit to everything and killing Raynor. Made it a very fun game 1, despite INnoVation obviously leading early, and, well, keeping that lead throughout to the point of victory. GG. The second map here, with Raynor, our green Zerg spawning in the top right, taking on our red Terran player INnoVation in the bottom left. As INnoVation going to send an early SCV out and across the map. Just as he sends this proxy racks, sets this proxy racks up, I just want to say, obviously, a couple people asked me lately about how they can support the channel on the YouTube comments and how they can support my content. 2 very simple ways, which is, first of all, Patreon. There's always a Patreon link in the description down below. Patreon.com/WardiTV. You can support there. There's a few benefits. You get replay packs and more. And there's also YouTube memberships. If you want to check that out, you can check out the join button, which is also just kind of below the video. And you can join as a member on YouTube, and that also helps support monetarily if you'd like to. That's all I'm going to say. If you want to check those out, feel free to. Obviously, do not feel like you have to. As we do see our barracks dropping down from INnoVation, as Raynor is actually going to scout. Okay, he is going to scout this. My breath caught for a second because I was like, no, he's turning away. Well, Raynor just go hatchery first this time. So after going pool first in game 1, he's now going to go hatch first for game number 2. As we're just going to be seeing our drones pulling down in towards the watchtower here where the racks are. INnoVation obviously not looking super great for him right now as his first SCV trying to stay alive. He loses one. Is he going to lose the other before the racks finishes? Oh, he's just going to finish it up. He actually brought more SCVs. Oh my god. He brought 4 more SCVs across the map. That is not normal, guys. Let me just tell you that right now as he's continuing to fight here as well. First Marine about to pop out. Obviously, this Rax is still super delayed. But this is so much mining time loss. I mean, 3 SCVs down. There's still 3 SCVs on the map. This Marine here now. Do the drones really want to go for this? Probably not. 2 of them low. Yeah, probably not a good way to go about this, as this Rax is going to be finishing. Actually going to keep these SCVs here, repair each other up, and then, I guess, try and, you know, help each other out, trying to get this bunker up at the front as well. So pushing forwards here, these a couple of Marines, the SCVs, leading the charge up in towards the natural expansion. Bunker will drop down, and obviously the SCVs look as though, I mean, they're here to support this, but I mean, a lot of Lings about to pop, and the slowdown on the Marine count is obviously huge. Obviously, it costs Raynor some income as well, but he's already getting Lings out here, so now he's going to force these Marines to run, and he's doing the very important thing that sometimes is forgotten, which is that you need to stop these bunkers coming up while you push these Marines back, and he does exactly that. So INnoVation will not have bunkers to work with, and it gives Raynor so much more time to set up against this and to make this work out. Queen firing, the Marines a bit of back and forth there as the drone will become a spine crawler. Queen's continuing to push this, push this back. I mean, picking off these couple of bunkers, forcing the cancels. As you do see the spine crawler just going to continue coming through. The fueling's up to the upper side. Queen's still pressing into this. The spine crawler going to be finished up on the natural Marines, taking some more damage. And just going to be having still Marines being made. INnoVation is just going to go with the SCV pull. So he's looking to end this game here, and he's looking to end this game now. As here we go. SCV's pressing forwards. Marines going to come with this. As they go up in towards the natural expansion, SCV's leading the charge. Spinecrawler starting to burrow up. Marines coming into this. Gonna see this SCV's looking for a surround. Spinecrawler surviving for the moment. How far are we from a transfusion? A couple of energy away. Does INnoVation target down before then? He does. Now the Queens will just have to transfuse each other, as obviously with the SCV pull, you pull the drones as well. First Queen taking damage, then he turns around, hits that transfusion. Unfortunately, this Queen was just still too far forwards. More Lings showing up. These Marines might still make this difficult, make this tricky, but unfortunately, I think he's just dying out a little bit. This is how much trouble INnoVation thought he was in, right? I mean, you don't usually go for a SCV pull when you go 2 racks. You usually SCV pull if you go 3 racks because you have that higher Marine count. But yeah, this is... He was even mining gas for a while because he was like, oh yeah, you know, 2 2 racks, going to transition, but obviously just figured he was too far behind from the fact that he got delayed initially and then got into a very weak spot from there. So just try to end the game here and now, and he's made a good effort of it. But as these Marines get chased down, these drones coming over, the Lings jumping in on top of these Marines, it looks as though everything will be getting cleaned out. And that should be that for Raynor to take a game number 2. And it looks like we will get a game 3 of this series. GG is called, and Raynor takes map number 2, tying us up 1-1. The proxy racks from INnoVation unsuccessful. Game 3 of this series. The music took a moment to kick in there, didn't it? It just didn't want to start. In the bottom left-hand side, our red Terran player is INnoVation, and once more, we have an SCV making its way out and across the map. INnoVation, you gave us such a cool game number 1. Why are you doing this in games 2 and 3? Give us a series. Give us a real battle. This SCV makes its way out over the right side. We do have in the main base of Raynor. He's our green Zerg. Sorry, that was not the intro I was going for. We have a green Zerg in this main base over here. Obviously, it's Raynor, la la la. You guys know. It's StarCraft intros. They create these interesting discussions. And should we even need to intro people on an online event, multiple games in a row? Probably not, but it's just habit. It's just expectation at this point. It's a conversation for another time, because obviously this proxy racks is setting up real quickly now. This time, Raynor, he's checking for proxy racks, and he isn't going to see them. Not early anyways. So not seeing the proxy racks early definitely can hurt, as we see this Overlord taking a turn towards the front. The 2 barracks continuing to build here. Going to be done in a moment or two, as the Overlord continues forwards. Does not see them though. Oh my god, look at the turn he made as well. Like, he just doesn't see them. So Raynor is in the dark right now. Doesn't know what's up now. He's gone hatch first as well. Gas and pool to follow, as we do see. Now he sees it. Now he sees SCVs and a Marine running forwards. And now Raynor will be shaking his head a little bit and being like, come on. As we have our drones pressing forward. So this is obviously very different to last game. The racks get up. It is 2 racks. There's a gas at home, and there will be a factory at some stage. I'm just missing game sounds. God damn it. I knew something was up, but it makes no sense that game sounds went off between games. I'm so confused. Okay, well, I'm sorry guys, no game sounds for the first minute or 2. As you see, a couple of drones going to continue to go down. We're going to have the couple of extra workers getting picked away at here. So far, just the 1 drone, but the bunker is up, of course, and that creates a bit of an issue. Second bunker starts to build. It's really nice to also reduce the surface area on bunker number 1. As this 1 Marine going forward is looking to try and find a drone or 2. Raynor is just building Lings to try and break out of this, so he's not going for a spine crawl or anything like that. Extractor tricking his way out of the supply block he finds himself in, as he's going to lose units now, so he'll be unsupply blocked in a moment. He's just going to commit through to this. His 1 queen from the main base is coming down now as well. SCVs are not here to repair, so this bunker will fall, and the second bunker will not get up. 5 drones lost though, so he's down by 4 workers. And back at home, INnoVation has begun the factory. He's actually stopped the factory. INnoVation. Okay, INnoVation's making a huge mistake, because he doesn't realize his factory isn't building. And that's going to really slow down the rest of his build as a follow-up here. So maybe a mistake from INnoVation that could give Raynor a chance. Oh man, these Lings continuing forwards. These Marines taking some damage. The Queen chasing the Marines off as well. INnoVation being pushed away. Still hasn't continued his factory production. This is so bad for INnoVation. He's going to be floating a lot of money very soon. And he's going to be mad at himself when he realizes that that ain't done still. Oh, SCV comes in, tries to get this bunker up again. It does not get there. I can't believe this. Factory's not building. Okay, he sees it now and he realizes his mistake. And he will get back on that. There's obviously 0 reason to stop a factory building. You don't gain resources back by pausing the build or anything like that. There is no world in which this made any sense to stop. So it's just a straight up mistake from INnoVation. He's done enough where it might just not matter. But in a different world, that could be costly. He could already have a Hellion or 2 out by now. He could already have the reactor finished. He could have a tech lab out in a Cyclone building. There's so much he could have here that now he just doesn't. And he has to be a little bit cautious of. Marines up into the main. Just going to see the rest of the Lings coming across racks over the right. A couple of queens stealing some shots here at the moment. So just going to be getting away at the barracks. As you do see, these Zerglings going to make their way up in towards the main base. Marines able to get one ling. 3cc building up from INnoVation then. So getting into the 3 bases, the reactor on the factory. Starport about to complete. Can jump onto this reactor in a moment or two as we have got the lair from Reynor on the main base. Just trying to figure out a little bit of anything you can do. Obviously, no third hatchery for him makes this a little bit tough to begin with. As we are just going to be seeing the racks continuing through. So feelings out over the left-hand side. INnoVation going to drop the fusion core as a follow-up here. I mean, when you've got the Zerg on such a late third base, the BC is likely to just do a lot because of the lack of queens anyways. He's also seen the lair, so that's also a lair building and not a queen in production. I mean, in general, the BC is just very safe also against a lot of the all-ins that can come your way, so I think it's very much so an all-right kind of setup to have here as INnoVation slowly moves down towards the natural expansion. Third orbital on the way up in the main base as well. This rack still moving up the right-hand side. A couple extra gases dropping in from INnoVation. The orbital command in the main about to be finishing as well, so that's going to be 3 bases in total. Ready to go and pumping out SCVs. Rainor, what are you going to do with this lair tech? I mean, he's got a lot of gas. Looks like maybe even Spire, unless he's just going to go like Ling Queen Nidus. He's going to go Spire. That's what the Spine Call is for, right? If you go Ling Queen Nidus, you attack aggressively. He's going to try and go Spire. He's now going to cancel the Spine. Feeling safe enough, but I mean, you're kind of fighting a losing battle at the moment here. Again, the 2X did so much. Still hanging out on the ramps as we do see. I actually didn't even see this. He went double starports. He's actually got a second battle cruiser starting as well. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That's going to be a frustration as we do see this fusion core building up the Armado, getting that going. A couple of these extra Hellions on the way out. This BC is going to be popping. I mean, the BCs are going to finish teleport across, and I actually just don't think the Spire even matters. Right? Maybe. But how much money do you really have here as Rainor? What are you going to build? Like 5 meters? It's not going to be that much. And Rainor doesn't have spores or anything because he's trying to be as greedy as possible to get himself back in this game. It's very tough. The idea is not bad from Rainor. Play Mutilus, something that can harass and maybe keep the Terran back, buy you some time, get some damage done where maybe you wouldn't find any damage. But yeah, overall, I think this is real brutal as we see these Mutilusks continuing out. Hatchery on the third base getting set up. Rest of these lings into the center. As you're just going to be seeing the battle cruisers just teleport in from INnoVation, so they're just going to come straight on through. Start deal some hits. I mean, these couple of queens right from the get-go are going to be in some trouble. As you do have the, I mean, the BCs are just going to have a wild time. And now Hellions coming across to support this as well, and Reynor has literally nothing on the ground. So, okay, he's got a handful of Zerglings, so these Hellions are just going to have a wild time as well. He drops the Mule to repair the BC. The Wraithlings will commit in for the Mule. We'll get that. It costs him a bunch of the Zerglings as well. So the rest of the Hellions coming through. Mule still pressing forwards as we're going to be seeing the BCs continue to fight. A Spore Crawler finishes up, but even the Marines have come across the map here from INnoVation to make this a game-ending push. Third BC teleports in, and Rainor gets the heck out of there. And that's going to be GG's for INnoVation to take Game 3. And INnoVation to win out this series that was played in the group stages of the HomeStory Cup. I do believe that meant he ended up winning the group and advancing into the playoffs from that point. GG's from INnoVation, 2-1 over Reynor, and a fun little series here. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so very much, and I'll see you guys next time. Of course, an upload a day here over on the YouTube channel.